Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk a little about Autosteer and GPS.
Two great technologies, and man, what a difference have they made on farms. My dad talked about his first opportunity to really drive tractors out in the field on his farm growing up as a kid was because he could drive straighter than his dad was driving at the time. And so his dad's like, man, you have nice straight rows, you keep driving. Well, now anybody can have straight rows with GPS and with Autosteer.
Well, ironically, you bring up our dad, and the last work he ever did for us on the farm was right along the highway, and he was doing some tillage work for us. Well, my son, who was young at the time, was in the tractor cab with him. So I called him after a while and I said, okay, Dad, how's this going? Is that bothering you too much? Whatever. And he goes, oh, no, it's fine and stuff. And I said, well, how do you like that new GPS system we got in there? And he goes, I don't even know how to work it. I said, okay, I'll send somebody down to kick that on for you. So it was about halfway through the field, kick on the Autosteer. The rest of the field, it was nice and straight. His a little bit wiggly here and there, and you could see it again right by the highway. He saw it every single day. That I think it made him believe in the technology.
But I don't think Autosteer results in more yield. Crooked rows versus straight rows, there really isn't a big yield difference, but what there is a difference for that operator. Think about it, if you've ever gone on a long road trip, how tired you are at the end of that. You're constantly having to pay attention and make sure everything's going good. Imagine driving a tractor and watching the implement behind you all the time, trying to make sure everything's good back there and trying to make sure you've got straight rows and all the things that go into it. It's exhausting. So having Autosteer is just so much nicer for the operator. At the end of the day, you still have some energy.
Now, with that Autosteer, part of what makes that possible is GPS, the global positioning system. So a lot of people have gotten signals from satellites, and boy, that's great, and you can use this Autosteer and everything's nice. But the thing is, if you want to be super accurate, let's say that you're doing strip till or you're planting or whatever, and you want to have everything right on, then you're actually going to want some ground correction too. So what we'll do, like on our farm, is we'll have a base station that's close to the field. So not only is our tractor talking to the satellite, it's also talking to this ground correction, this base station. So now instead of being 4 inches off or 8 inches off, we're within an inch. It's awesome. The other thing that I would say along with that is when we're doing tiling work, for everything that we talk about typically with GPS and Autosteer accuracy and all that, it's always side to side. Well, when you're going vertically, you usually figure double. So let's say we had 4-inch accuracy side to side. Well, that's 8 inches vertically. We can't have our tile lines 8 inches off. And I mean, that would create tremendous amounts of problems. So that's where we really need that base station and that ground correction.
Well, these technologies, GPS and Autosteer, have been really huge for farmers, and there are many more technologies that we could talk about too. One of the big things that, as Brian and I got into farming, we just heard a lot of people that weren't related to farms at all thinking, farmers don't have to be that sharp. They probably couldn't find another job, so they're helping on the farm. No, farmers have to be sharp. The technology is tremendous. It's not cheap, but it is really adding some value out on the farms.
Well, one thing that is fairly inexpensive is weed control. We're going to talk about some relatively inexpensive options for controlling this week's Weed of the Week later in the show.